These are probably things that a pastor just shouldn't say, but I think anybody who thinks or proposes that they have it all figured out is absolutely lying to us.
Okay. Okay. I think it's about time for me to go in. Like I dive deep. Like I'm last week night with the flow here. Johnny boy, my peeps. I'm an infotainment state. My brain ain't contained.
There's a tension between what has actually been revealed and what we can see here in the natural. And sometimes that tension can produce anticipation or frustration or a hope. But in me, it produced a bit of depression, if I'm being honest. And to be honest, I'm more confused than I ever have been in business. Jesse and I still don't have children. My church has still yet to expand the kingdom of heaven all throughout the city, much less the county, the state, and the nation. To be fair, it's actually brought a lot of despair to my mindset and stuff. Josh! What's up, man? Everybody? Josh?
What's up?
What's up, man? You ready to do work?
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
What are we doing today?
We're shooting a podcast. We're doing it in person. A lot of times I've been doing it kind of online and it's not near as cool. So, yeah.
We're gonna rig it up.
I'm excited. We're going to rig it up.
Please tell me I grabbed the podcast mics. Did you grab a black?
I grabbed a black hard case. And
Perfect. So they're in there somewhere. Yes, sir. The usual. Let's bring this guy. You won't have to bring that soft one right there. Yes, we're bringing. Here today, filming with Josh. We're gonna do a podcast. He has the Storyfield podcast where he takes on other faith leaders in the business world and just kind of figures out what God's doing with them and how he's motivating business. Normally he does just audio only, but he had a guy say, hey, I can't do a Zoom, so can we possibly get together? And that's where I'm gonna step in and help him out. Oh, dong! Over here at Cornerstone, Pastor Ed has so graciously allowed us to borrow his office because I don't have one. Okay, question number 2 is, we could just do the dome and set y'all on either side. Do that then.
He's too nice to me.
Howdy, friends, and welcome to The Storyfield. This is a podcast where we talk about business, faith, and life in general.
Okay, so here's the deal. We want you to be encouraged. We want you living in hope. This life we live is complex. It's hard at times. At the Storyfield, you will find great stories of normal people just like us who will inspire you. Our goal is that you leave encouraged, inspired, and excited to move forward in life. But before we get started, one thing though, if you're listening and you find yourself really hopeless right now, send us an email at hope@thestoryfield.com so we can pray for you. Thanks for joining us today. Let's get started. Hey Storyfield. Welcome my friend Kevin Halleck. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, I do want to say first, Kevin, this is one of the best setups we have for our episodes yet. So, and I want to thank Jared Brown, who's you might hear him yelling some questions out in the background, but Jared's with Bite of Brownies Production, a good friend, does all the video stuff. If you have any questions, needs video help, whatever, YouTube stuff, video, call Bite of Brownie. Jared, good friend, doing this for us, and I think it's a really cool thing that it's your episode that we would do this on.
Is it Becky? Look at teaser. What are you doing? Cutting paper. It's a very high-end podcast. This is big time. Big time. Thanks, Becky. It starts with the metal stuff, so if we can grab these, yeah, you got them. I wasn't kidding. That's a good one to film.
That was. That's what I was doing. Hey, man.
See ya. I was watching a podcast the other day. It was a Jordan Peterson podcast. And the reason that I clicked on it was because I have to admit, I really want to see Jordan Peterson ultimately admit like verbally that Jesus is Lord. But in the podcast, he says something along these lines. He says there's two realities that exist and are kind of at war with one another. He says, I grew up in one. It's called the objective reality. It's scientific. It's everything that you can taste, see, smell, touch, feel. That's the observable, tangible, physical world. It's what he grew up in and what he's used to. However, there's a second reality that exists that he has to pay homage to, that he has to recognize. It's this thing, it's this creator place, it's this other space, kingdom, however you want to put it, that keeps on crashing into this observable world. And he said, man, it's a narrative. I would like to call it a narrative world where there is a creator, there is an architect who is telling a story. And that story, I must admit, bears weight. That narrative world, that narrative reality bears weight upon this objective reality. It's pretty cool for Jordan Peterson. And he says the best example of these two worlds colliding can be found in the person of Christ. He's really the only one who's been able to harness the two, to understand the narrative that's coming out of heaven that the Father wants, and to bring it to bear in the objective reality. He said, therefore, if it's true, then anything is possible. And anything that God wants is possible. And one may even supersede the other one. It's pretty incredible. But it's also excruciating. Absolutely excruciating. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? The world is going to say, have hope. The word's going to say, have hope. And those are real and tangible things. But like, man, how? How do you bring the narrative into the objective? It's almost like the writer of Hebrews had something to say about it. And if Jesus is our example, let's just let him tell us. And if you hadn't been able to notice by now, the area that I'm struggling in the most is in the area of hope. It's because this narrative that's coming out of heaven, like when I sit down with Jesus, he's telling me who I am. He's shaping what my life is supposed to look like. I'm checking in with him daily. He's revealing things in my quiet time about where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to do. But when I look around in the natural and I begin to evaluate and observe, are these things taking place? Sometimes I can get discouraged, and it is a thief of hope. And hope is the real nugget that I'm wrestling with right now. Hope. And so I'm like, God, this is what you're saying, but this is not what I'm seeing. How do I maintain hope in this time? I feel like I'm just supposed to go all in on you. And I get this text message from my friend, Jason. It was amazing. He said this. He said, always be joyful. Oops, it's not him. That's my wife. He said, I was praying for you this morning. I saw you planting a flag of hope in the midst of dark times. I saw depression and anxiety and people wondering what you were doing. And they were asking, why do you have hope? Don't you understand? Don't you see what is happening around you? I saw myself in this crowd, and I apologize if I've ever done anything to drag you down. Man, don't worry about me. Don't worry about others. Go for it. Raise the flag, charge the hill, and we will get our crap together sooner or later. We'll catch up to you. I think this is what God has for you. I mean, he is worthy of men of radical faith, just like Jason, who are going to believe what he says and call that narrative realm into this objective realm. And I got to say, maybe you're like me. Maybe you're not okay, and I want to tell you that's okay. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below and let me know what God has called you to, or what he has called you, or your family, or your church, or your region that you're believing for from that narrative realm, from the kingdom realm that needs to be established objectively in this natural one. I want to stand with you in that. Let's give God what he desires. Faith leaders that are integrous, powerful, and relevant again. I love you, and I will see you in the next one. I'm out. Ah, man. He's worthy. Let's try that again. Oh, man. He's worthy of men of radical faith. Man, just like that. Stop doing that.